Hello and welcome to Unsourced Wall. My name is Elvis, and as always, I'm your host. Alright, it's going to be kind of a short one. We have 3 big comic reviews this week, and only just a scant amount of movie news. So let's move on with it. First off, we have some more developments on the Ray Fisher allegations against WB for an abusive and unprofessional work environment on the reshoots for Justice League. Now, I haven't covered this before because, it's something that I've been waiting to see develop, and I'm only talking about it right now because of how insane it's getting. Apparently, the last big beat in this ongoing story was a little while ago, where Ray Fisher was saying that they weren't taking the investigation seriously, and Jason Momoa coming out in support for him on Instagram, which was then followed by this really weird announcement of Frosty the Snowman movie being produced by John Berg and Jeff Johns, starring Jason Momoa, which led to a lot of think pieces and articles about how maybe Jason Momoa was not really supporting him, or maybe that he was flip-flopping or anything like that. And then it turns out, just the other day, that article was fake, and that news leak was fake, and that there is no Frost in the Snowman movie, and Jason Momoa goes on this huge rant on Instagram about it, and it just strikes me as being really, really awful. I mean, there hasn't been anything in terms of specifics yet as to what happened in the reshoots, because I believe that's something that should come out after investigation. But the fact that they tried to undercut Ray Fisher's story by planting a fake Frosty the Snowman announcement, it feels like there is got to be a lot of stuff that happened there that is beyond the pale, and it's ridiculous and honestly really kind of insane that they would go to those lengths. So I wish Ray Fisher the best, and honestly, if this is the kind of stuff that they're gonna be trying to pull, then I hope he stays safe and that and that everything comes out in the wash, as they say. Next up, we have the announcement that AntMan 3's villain is going to be Kang the Conqueror. I have nothing much to say about that. I just want to talk about it because I'm still really, really disappointed that Ant-Man and the Wasp was so bad, and I still really like my money back. So, hey, if Kang the Conqueror, the time-traveling villain, is going to be part of it, maybe he can go back and erase that entire sequel, so I never had to spend my money on it. And that's the most petty I'm going to get about this. I wish the actor the best. The actor is currently on Lovecraft Country, and he's doing an amazing job. Jonathan Majors. And yeah, so 2 thumbs up for him. Probably not going to see the movie because of how badly I was burned on the sequel. Anyway, let's move on to what I read this week. We had a great week this week, starting off with Billionaire Island number 6. At last, we had the finale to one of the best miniseries to come out this year, and I have to say, it was okay-ish. It probably would have hit harder if it hadn't been saddled with the immense weight of how great the rest of the series has been. The first 5 issues of this mini have been some of the best utilized and integrated social commentary and darkly pinpointed humor I've seen this side of Keith Giffen taking pot shots at the comics industry. It hurt to laugh, and it hurt the heart even more to read. Russell and Pugh just didn't hold back, and that was to the benefit of everyone who was able to experience the joy of reading this as it was coming out. And number 5, last issue, felt like the best kind of cap-off. A cathartic and emotional rumination of wealth, of prosperity, of our players' connection to those ideas, and with the concepts and how we really interact and deal with them, and everything that comes with it. Plus, some really damn good morality being played out, with a good undercoating of grounded personality to keep it from being too saccharine or too light. It just didn't hold back. Number 6, this finale feels like it's been holding back. It just feels like it's not going for the gut punch the rest of the series was building up. This depressing and impenetrably overcast shadow that the world is dying, that things are coming to an end, that there might not be a way back from the edge. Number 5 handled that balance perfectly, showing the literal architect dying while trying to hold on to some semblance of the American dream as a pure ideal. This issue, people just get their comeuppance and it ends on an overly even-handed ambiguous note, which would be fine in a regular series, but this one just got so bitter and so cynical and so real about itself, and that was to its benefit. That to end on a maybe we'll find a way, maybe we won't, feels like a concession. The last bits of this comic are basically business as usual for the world, not really that satisfying. It doesn't go for the gut punch, and that is unworthy of how battered and how earned at that the other issues were. Still, it's a really great series and definitely worth to read, even if it does pull back at the end. Overall, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb middle. Next up, we have Immortal Hulk number 37, and this was just a really good issue. While I've had a bit of a problem with how decompressed this series can be at times, this issue makes a good case for why that's not just a bad thing all the time. There's a rushed and frenzied nature to this that feels insanely captivating, for how much really isn't moved forward or efficiently parsed out time-wise. I think the only forward movement the story has in this issue is maybe about 2 minutes in terms of story time. Basically, nothing real happens until the last few pages, but the amount of moving pieces being thrown at the face of the readers almost relentlessly makes up for it, keeping you off balance and your focus continuously shifting. It's almost the perfect representation of how it must feel like to be caught up in the web of the leader's machinations as much as the characters are. In fact, when things start to burst forth at the end and come to a head, Leader's snide narration almost feels like it's directed at you, and he's about to pull off a hat trick right under your nose. It's great, but yeah, not much really happens, at least not much that wasn't already clearly built up to and heavily foreshadowed. Which isn't a bad thing, it just shows that Ewing is meticulous. One example of this, and maybe my favorite, is that we finally got a good demonstration of how the leader has been body jacking people, and how we found out about gamma resurrections and how to end them. Now, both of these might be standard, given what we've already known, but what stuck out to me is how well these two play into one of the earliest plot beats of the series. Going back as far as the third issue, combined, those two elements deftly explain any lingering questions left by the mysterious murder-suicide of Hot Hands and Jailbait. And that's just fucking impressive, because I think I've been the only Immortal Hulk fan that's still curious about what the fuck happened with them. And now that we know that the leader's been experimenting with how to make people resurrect and how to, keep them dead, the fact that two of his old cronies just kind of killed themselves in the most horrendous and really off-putting way possible just gives it that extra kick that, that's probably what happened. He was using them to experiment. And it is sickening. And Ewing, you are brilliant. He's been playing the long game for sure. Overall, 2 thumbs up for just being an enthralling issue that just knows how to really rile up some innate reactions. And I can't wait for more. And luckily, I didn't have to, because we also had Immortal Hulk number 0, a special one-shot this week. Now, this is mostly a reprint of 2 key issues surrounding Brian Banner, Bruce's dad, with Incredible Hulk number 312, which was about Bruce's abusive childhood, and which was used as the basis for the 2003 Ang Lee film, and Incredible Hulk number -1, which is about Brian's death. And those are both really great issues. 312 in particular is maybe one of the best single issues of the Hulk of all time. And they had so much of the themes in the groundwork in Immortal Hulk that just reprinting the issues side by side just by themselves would have been well worth it. But nope, Ewing also decided to make a proper framing device. And that's what brings this issue over the top, because for the first time in a long while, this series recaptures the magic, that inherent gothic spooky horror of the first couple of issues. It's basically like an extended Twilight Zone episode, or an extended EC horror anthology segment. A man being subjected to a morality tale, only to get bit in the ass when it comes time to face his due. And it plays it to the hilt. It never makes out for Brian to be sympathetic, or to be renewed in our eyes, but his pathetic and downcast nature only highlight the severity and the intensity and the awfulness and ruthlessness of his punishment. It's a punchline for sure, and a classic one, where you really do have to make your peace with your deal with the devil. And Ewing takes that conceit and brings with it all the disgust, dread, and fear that he can wring from it. You don't feel for Brian, but you feel his fear, and it's abominable. And that's what makes this issue perfect. It's wonderful, and I won't be able to stop thinking about it for days. It might actually keep me up at night. It felt good to get back to roots, at least tangentially. So overall, 2 thumbs up, and a great time this issue. It was a blast, and I just can't wait to see where the next 13 issues of this series brings us, as well as the upcoming Immortal She-Hulk one-shot. Anyway, that's it for this week. I didn't ask any listener questions because I forgot, and I was also really busy. So I just want to say thank you to everyone out there who's ever sent a question, comment, or topic. It means so much to me, and I'm just so really grateful for that. So I hope you know that. And if anyone out there has their own question, comment, or topic, you can always find me on Twitter at THE_SNICKMAN. I'll give a shout out to the Cover Arts for the show at DOTEMCE. Please check them out. They're amazing. They deserve all the following they can get. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great week, and see you again next time.